Wearable fashion trends 2023. What to wear and how to style this spring-summer. It's good news, everyone. The 2023 fashion trends are the most wearable that I've seen for a very long time. So I am super excited to launch my big style edit, What to Wear This Spring-Summer. Today, I shall be sharing all the key fashion trends for 2023, but most importantly, showing how you can interpret those trends for your everyday wardrobe. I've got a little bit from the runway, key pieces from the high street, and a whole lot of outfit inspiration. So sit back, relax, and let me take you on a lovely little wander through the fashion we shall be wearing this 2023. Elevated basics. This spring-summer, it's all about pared-back elegance. Think of the late and uber-stylish Carolyn Bessette Kennedy, who had seemingly mastered the art of elevating her basics in almost every single outfit. Now, thinking about what to wear this season, try and look out for those muted tones that just naturally have a tendency to look more expensive, and the overall combinations that you want to make with those pieces. I would always advise saving your pennies for the highest quality you can afford. Save up for that perfect skirt, an organic cotton tank that fits just so, simple plimsolls, or that classic white shirt that always looks pristine no matter how many times you wash it. Runway wise, it would be really hard not to mention Max Mara for this particular trend. It was a stunning concoction of muted neutrals made from perfectly cut linens and silks. But note how all those individual elements are actually pretty basic pieces. A full-length skirt or a simple tank top, for example, but when done in those really luxurious fabrics, they are, as the name would suggest, elevated to perfection. Across the high street, of course, this would be a pretty easy fashion trend to recreate. Brands like Arket, COS, Reiss, M&M, and even H&M's premium collection all have some brilliant basics that would absolutely fit the bill for this trend. Sheer fabrics. Sheer fabrics were a big hit that we saw on the runways, and while I'm not sure I'd really label this one as wearable as such, we did see it from the likes of Saint Laurent, Number 21, Christopher Kane, Prada, Emilia Wickstead, and Chanel. So there's no getting around the fact that this spring-summer, sheer fabrics are definitely in. But how to style this trend in reality? Well, I would probably integrate the style in small doses. Sheer sleeves on a top perhaps, or maybe a detail with the neckline, or maybe even a skirt with a layer of sheer fabric over the top. What we see on the catwalk is, of course, the designer's vision, but that doesn't mean we can't simply take an element of that aesthetic and translate it more subtly in our real-life wardrobes. Saffron and lime. Fashion trends, as we know, are all about extremes. So this 2023, it's about going either elegantly understated or unapologetically maximalist. They're opposite ends of the fashion spectrum, to be honest, and both can look amazing. The unwritten rule, of course, is whichever really suits your own personal style, you've got to go for it with everything you've got. No half measures this 2023. Life is far too short. So with that in mind, fear not, I have the fashion maximalist covered with an explosion of head-to-toe colour. Now, two of those key colours that we saw time and time again on the runway were lime from the likes of Hussein Zhang, Givenchy, and the Michael Kors collection, and then on the flip side, saffron red that we saw at Alexander McQueen, Ferragamo, and of course with Valentino. Bottega Veneta even had a bit of both, which just cemented that those two colour trends are really in for 2023. Now, I'm not usually one for wearing too much colour. I personally think the elevated basics trend is probably my happy place. However, I can absolutely see the appeal of wearing monochromatic, bright and bold tones. And there's no denying that amazing effect that dopamine dressing can have on your spirit too. COS, again, do colour very, very well. Mango often create more wearable and affordable versions of the fashion trends each season, and Reformation can always be counted on for a dress in a great pop of colour. Now, along with adding how to style it outfit ideas that I might have spotted across the high street throughout this video, I shall also add a little selection in the description box for you to take a look at the end of this video. I often have far more ideas than I do space, so that may end up spreading over into a blog post too. But hopefully it'll be a good style resource for you to keep coming back to. Old Hollywood dresses. Now, if I wasn't already in my element this season with those elegant pared back basics, the designers went and totally spoiled us all with the return of Old Hollywood dresses. They are absolutely what I will be shopping this season when the occasion requires it. Now, we saw this on the catwalk in stunning fashion from the likes of Blue Marine, Saint Laurent and Ferragamo. But my total favourite has to be this absolutely beautiful interpretation from Louis Vuitton. That gathered chiffon finished with the contrasting bow, just perfection. The key to getting this particular trend right would be down to the draping fabrics. So keep an eye out for those super soft jerseys, maybe velvets, and those liquid-like chiffons. You're looking for those goddess-style gathers with a bit of an old Hollywood-style shape. It's romantic, it's feminine, and even a little bit sexy, but in an understated fashion. And when it comes to truly wearable fashion trends this 2023, perhaps for those special occasions, I think we would all suit this look in some shape or form. Across the high street and with some of the more mid-priced designers, I found a beautiful collection of dresses that reminded me of that 50s glamour, so I shall keep adding new ideas to the description box as and when they're launched. Everyday denim. What denim to wear this spring summer? Now, if there's one fashion trend that I will definitely be investing in this season, it would be with the everyday denim variety. Mainly because I am a big fan of jeans, and I know without even really thinking about it, I will definitely get my wear out of them. Now, I know some of you might groan when I say this, but the order of the season, if you wish to partake, is a looser fit. But before you run a mile and wish this trend would just go away, they're more understatedly oversized, which I think is far more wearable. One of my favorite shots from the runway, which actually I think sums up a lot of the look of the season, was this one of Kate Moss wearing Bottega Veneta. Now, she's got her low slung jeans on, paired with her elevated basic tank, and one which I will get to in a moment, finished with her polished grunge flannel shirt. Etro shared more low slung options, and Dior with those puddled hems, and then paired with the sheer trend with a simple tank top. It was undeniably more of a looser fit at the row as well, but they did it in more of an elegant fashion. I liked Isabel Marant's too, which went a bit more high-rise, but with those baggy flares. Now, across the high street, Arquette's wide, non-stretch jeans are actually perfect for this relaxed silhouette, and they're retailing under £80. A gold do some great jeans, just generally speaking, and I still love their 90s pinch waist, slouchy fit jeans. I've got those in the ecru actually, but I would really like to get them in the blue wash for this season too. And Monkey have added in a bit of a cargo vibe with theirs, so ticking two trends at once with those. At the cheaper end of the scale, ASOS's Own and H&M both do really great replicas of what we see on the catwalk, and in the latter's case especially, they wash really, really well. Now, you do get extra points for a bit of a lower waist as per Dior, but I know that not many people are huge fans of that, so let's just say the key point would be a little understated slouch. That should see you right. Asymmetric or pencil. Now, when you don't want to be reaching for your jeans, what about adding a skirt instead? There are two key fashion trends when it comes to skirts for 2023. One would be opting for an asymmetrical hem like we saw at Gucci, Rick Owens, Sacai and Stella McCartney. And the other would be with pencil skirts, which we saw again and again at Miu Miu. I personally prefer the latter, and I think it would have more longevity in my own wardrobe. But how do you style it and keep it feeling classy? I would probably wear mine quite simply with a classic white shirt. Maybe tied a knot at the waist to just draw the eye to that area. While it's still quite cold, perhaps with knitwear and tights, and knee-high boots would work really nicely with that too. As it starts to get fully into spring summer, you could start paring it back in that really understated basic fashion, perhaps with a simple tank top and maybe your favorite sandals on your feet. Cargo pants. The trend that's taking us right back to All Saints days. Some would say with dread, I personally say with fondness. Anyone else still love their cargo trousers? Instagram devotees might have spotted the Frankie shop's best-selling Mesa cargo trousers on all of the fashionistas, and they've sold out more times than I can count, to be honest. On the runway, we saw this fashion trend an awful lot for spring-summer. Brandon Maxwell went with shine, Christian Dior with traditional khaki, Fendi had a pop of colour, and Isabel Marant very beautifully went for leather. Again, like the slouchy jeans before, this is one trend that will no doubt come back in favour on that wonderful carousel of fashion over the years. So I personally wouldn't worry about labelling it it within your investment category. I actually had a really nice pair way back when, and annoyingly I've lost them along the way somewhere. So while I won't be going super high-end designer, I shall definitely be looking out for the highest quality that I can afford. Again, like the jeans, the waist is slightly lower, the fit more slouched, but I like the new way of styling them, mixing in those more luxe elements to just lift the whole aesthetic. Think about adding in a beautifully tailored blazer to add an elevated contrast. I think that would work really nicely together. Polished grunge. No doubt this one will be one of those Marmite trends, I'm sure, but there's no getting away from it. Grunge is back with a vengeance. But, and it's a big but, thankfully it's all feeling a little more polished than it was way back in the 90s. The key this spring-summer is making sure you have that all-important contrast with your grunge pieces. So looking at Kate Moss again from the Bottega Veneta show, she is fresh-faced with pared back hair and dewy makeup, but styling her grunge-esque flannel shirt with those slouchy jeans. Coach went for a grunge-embellished sweater paired with polished leather shorts and quite a feminine looking clutch. Ralph Lauren even styled a pretty 90s vibe floral dress with beautiful shoulder-skimming earrings and a necklace to match. So when you're thinking what to wear to tick this trend box, remember it's not all deep down and dirty. It's about creating that juxtaposition between the luxe and the grunge that really counts. White on white. Spring, summer, you say? Shall we have a little bit of white on white? Yes, no surprises really with this trend, is there? But the key difference this season would be to try and stray away from our usual cottons and linens that we would normally reach for and be a bit more experimental with our fabrics. We saw it at Chanel, spring cable knits at Max Mara, cotton but quite sheer at Tibby, and with fringe lace trims at Zimmermann. There's no denying that both that white on white trend is hugely wearable in summer, and it's also one of my favourites. Nothing makes me feel more summery than slipping on a floaty white dress. Just maybe this season, if you want to follow the fashion trends to an absolute T, I should perhaps be looking for fabrics that feel a little bit more adventurous. I found a couple of pieces already across the high street that I thought would tick this box perfectly, but it's still quite early for a lot of stores, so do watch this space for inspiration, as I'm sure I will be joining in with this one very, very soon. On the flip side, one trend that I probably won't be venturing into would be the puffball. Remember those from the 80s? Yep, they're on their way back to haunt us all. I don't actually think they looked particularly great the first time around, so I'm not sure we needed a second attempt. But there you go. What I did like to see the revival of though was some elements of 80s party vibes. Think lame and leopard print, just less of the period drama for me. I like to think of this trend with a sort of Bianca Jagger Studio 54 kind of vibes, which is obviously from the 70s, and then add a bit of an 80s twist to it. That would be my ideal scenario to truly rock this one, without a puffball in sight. High shine. So following on from that 80s aesthetic was a distinctive high shine feel from lots of the designers, with quite an even split actually between those favouring gold and those who were pushing the silver. Altuzarra went with high sheen dresses, and Tory Burch offered the humble overcoat in bright gold. While Dolce & Gabbana and Michael Kors collection both went for silver sparkles all the way. I'm not sure about that makeup at Gucci, but I think it's safe to say they were fans of the silver variety when it came to shine. But again, how to style it this season. The good news is, if you're wanting to dip your toe in a little liquid shine or silver for spring, chances are you could probably pick up something now in sale left over from Christmas. It doesn't have to be this season's collections to rock that particular trend. And as a happy bonus, think how prepared you'll be ahead of next winter's sparkle season 2. Understated totes. So back to something that we can all wear pretty easily on a day-to-day basis. And the fashion trends for handbags was definitely the tote. Ideally, the bigger the better, which I'm very pleased about. Again, like the majority of the trends though, they're larger than usual. That was the main vibe that I got from the designs, which personally I'm really pleased about. Louis Vuitton's tan leather logo tote is set to be the it bag of the season. So if it is within budget, I do think it's absolutely beautiful. Chloe's medium woody tote ticks the trend trend, whilst at the same time being hugely practical. And Bottega Veneta, again, who I keep coming back to this season, really love their collection. But I would add their medium cabat or perhaps the large Arco tote to my own collection. Of course, if handbags are your thing, but those kind of price tags really aren't, the high street is adept at copying what it sees on the catwalk and making it far more affordable. I've added a little bit of an edit of the best totes that I've found recently in the description box below. Ballet shoes. What to wear on your feet this spring summer. So thinking of accessories, the shoe that's set to be the fashion trend of 2023 would definitely be the ballet flat. Seen on the runway with Tom Brown, Tod's and Simone Rocha. I think my favourite would be Tod's actually. I really hope they don't end up being insanely expensive because I'd really like to buy a pair of those. So incredibly comfy. But yes, ballet flats will very much be reigning supreme this particular season. The difference this time around would be the colours and the fabrics. They are all noticeably brighter, shinier and a bit more expensive looking than before, I guess. Think about pops of colour or perhaps even two trends at once and adding a bit of high shine with your ballet flats this season. One brand that I popped into before Christmas actually that would absolutely be on my shopping list for flats like this would be Pretty Ballerinas. The craftsmanship is absolutely stunning, so I would really recommend them. For the velvet variety, I would recommend going somewhere like Doin. They always have some really pretty Mary Jane flats. And of course, I love the French girl vibe at Corral. They're iconic when it comes to that Mary Jane shape. Long drop earrings. Another fairly easy fashion trend to integrate into your outfit ideas this spring summer would be long earrings, preferably ones that dust over your shoulders. Now we saw this with the likes of Louis Vuitton, Tory Burch, Magda Bertram and Ralph Lauren to name but a few. Now I really like trends like this where they're so easy to add into existing outfits that you've already got, but by adding them into the mix it suddenly makes you feel really far more up to date. More of this please designers. Our bank balances like this one. Now you could either shop the high end for this particular trend or head to my favourites Monica Vinader and Carrot London for a little added sparkle. Even more affordable, and I think Accessorize always have really good pieces like this, certainly with that bohemian type edge if perhaps you want to take it in that direction. And Mango are always pretty fashion forward and affordable with their accessories too. While I've covered the key fashion trends this 2023, obviously I haven't mentioned every single trend. There's cobweb weaves, smudgy patterns and dresses with trains, for instance, that I haven't even got round to mentioning. But what I have tried to do today is really focus on those standout trends that are genuinely, for the most part, really wearable for everyday chic. The kind of looks that I imagine will be just as big on the high street as they were on the runway, and avoiding a couple of those which might be a bit out there for the school run or the office. My main objective with this, and in fact all of my styling videos, is to be as helpful as possible, to guide you with the knowledge of what's on trend for this spring summer, but of course it's totally up to you if you decide to partake or not. What I love about fashion is that it's all really subjective. One woman's boring is another woman's class, and not forgetting that all-important factor that ultimately we should always wear what makes us feel our very best, whether it's on trend or not. As always, I would love to hear everyone's favourite trends in the comment section below. It's always really lovely to hear from you all. And hopefully you'll join me next week for another of my styling videos with a whole heap of outfit ideas and inspiration. See you then.